Right, hello, welcome to another foray into Lord of the Rings, the LCG. We're back to passage through Mirkwood, and after a busy weekend of making many a deck, I've decided to give a mono spirit deck a go, partly out of necessity, because we're still working through our 3-player quest, and it was a bit of a pain to take the lore cards out of my friend's deck to put into a more interesting spirit lore deck. So I've never really tried mono spirit. I think it could really struggle for all the same reasons that my spirit lore secrecy deck struggled, but we're going to give it a go. So I'm rocking Eleanor, Círdan the Shipwright, and Eowyn. Now, and anyone with the core box will be familiar with Eleanor and Eowyn. But Círdan is from the Grey Havens much later in the game. Big 12 starting threat. 4 will, 2 attack, 2 defense, 4 hit points. He's a Noldor, very important, and a noble. You will draw 1 additional card at the beginning of the resource phase. Forced after drawing cards at the beginning of the resource phase, choose and discard 1 of those cards. So, you know, he is a mega hard quester. And with decent all-round stats, and that key Noldor word which lets Elrond's Council be used in deck as well as all the other Noldor stuff. To be honest, his discard ability is obviously meant to be played around with as a positive in an Noldor deck. I'm not running very much of the yay, I'm in the discard pile stuff. Instead, I'm trying to emphasize instead his ring, Narya. There are 3 copies in here to really boost some allies. So I've got some quite big allies by the standards of spirits, Treebeards, some big rangers, and we're going to see if this works. It might be a complete failure. I've never tried anything like this before. Obviously, Eowyn will be questing all the time, and Eleanor is going to hang back for her ability. And with 2 defense, she's not lighting the world on fire. But we're just going to see how it goes. I'd like her a lot more if she could just get a Gondorian shield. But unfortunately, in Mono Spirit, that is not a possibility. We've got our standard passage through Mirkwood setup with an old forest road, that cuddly location, and a forest spider, who I always thought was quite neatly designed enemy in that that initial burst of damage, and then a reasonable 2 attack. And at 5 points to clear, not impossible, but with a low enough defense you can chip away. 28 starting threat, and let's take a look at the starting hand. So we've got the Power of Orthanc from the Voice of Isengard, which is some much needed condition removal outside of lore. It is doomed too, but obviously I am Spirit. Unexpected Courage, which is good in this deck, not infinite, because I don't really need Eleanor or Eowyn to be doing more than one thing at a time. And I have Light of Valinor to allow Círdan to quest and not be exhausted. So, but I could get multiple uses out of Círdan. Steed of Imradris, Galadrim Weaver, and a Pelagar Shipwright, who is a real questing monster in this deck. Not that quest is something that this deck is really going to struggle with, but at 3 cost, 3 willpower, I mean that's excellent. I'm going to give this a go. We're going to see how this gets on. So, first turn, 3 resources, draw 2 cards, and then discard. Choose and discard. So I have to discard 1 of the cards I draw. Right, well, I've drawn a Treebeard and another Power of Orthanc. Well, I've got lots of maps in my deck to recur my events, so I'm definitely ditching the Power of Orthanc. And Treebeard is just, he is the meat that's going to allow this deck to work. So really key that I've seen him early. So I really want to make sure I keep a resource to the side to allow him to be played next turn, so I can get him on the board as quickly as possible. So I'm going to go Light of Valinor onto Círdan, and I'm going to go 1 cost for a Galadrim Weaver, who cannot attack or defend, so she's similar to the Erebor Record Keeper in lore, with identical stats, but she's Sylvan, not Dwarven. She's a craftsman. And after the Galadrim Weaver enters play, shuffle the top card of my discard pile into my deck. So that Power of Orthanc, I doubt, I seriously hope I'm not going to be put into a place where I need to play 2 of these, but it gets shuffled back in. So one less card away from decking out. And importantly, it gives me a mook if something big comes out that deck, turn 1, that decides to engage me. She can get slapped in the face, while Serdan and Eleanor can hit it back. And if something comes out that's nice and weak, well, Serdan or Eleanor can take the hit. I will look to put Unexpected Courage. I do need to pay for it though. I will look to put Unexpected Courage on Eowyn sooner rather than later. Obviously, it's not like her additional abilities are already doing anything as such. With 1 attack and 1 defense, but it will just give her that little more protection from Gaze of the Necromancer, and I have no healing in deck, so every wound from that is going to be uncomfortable. Likewise, those Dol Guldur orcs are going to be a real pain, so we're just going to have to see. So Serdan is going questing, and Eowyn's going questing, so that's a mighty 8. I mean, it's hard to send more turn 1, to be honest. Right then, and it's a King Spider. So when revealed, each player must choose and exhaust 1 character he controls. Now this thing's got 3 attack, so it's well within survivable standards for Serdan. However, I've been a complete idiot, and the Gladron Weaver can't attack or defend, so I should have just sent her questing because she's not a mook at all. However, my idiocy has somehow been rewarded, as I can now exhaust her as my character. That must be exhausted by the King Spider. Now this gets awkward because already we have 2 enemies engaging us, and both of them are going to be doing 3 damage. So we're going to really have to hope that Serdan and Eleanor are up to scratch here. So that is 8 threat, 5 in the staging area. So that's 3 progress. I'm going to try using my Game of Thrones Team Covenant Dawn power counters for progress. Hopefully they're not completely ruining the video. If I give you a close-up of them though, I mean, they are just absolutely wonderful. Turns out it's hard to look at the sun even when it's carved into a piece of wood. This is riveting stuff, but you'll have to rest assured it's very good stuff. Right, so travelling, it's not really worth getting the Old Forest Road effect. So both of these enemies engage, not really what the Spirit deck wants. Let's pray that this goes well. So Serdan is going to take the bite from the Forest Spider. Ooh, the Necromancer's Reach. So that's fortunate. That's a wound onto Serdan. And then Eleanor from the King Spider, caught in a web. Another treachery avoided. It's really my deck's actually fine with caught in a web, since we have Power of All Thank, but still avoided. So a very uncomfortable turn, a very uncomfortable start. Let's see if it gets any better. So, because it's not as though playing Treebeard right now is going to help me, since he won't be able to do anything on the turn he arrives. And while the Forest Spider is now going to hit at a more comfortable 2. Right then, so we've got the Westfold Horse Breeder, or the West Road Traveller. Well, I'm taking the 1 cost ally, so the West Road Traveller goes into the discard. Right, so if I play Treebeard this turn, I've really got no. I can have Serdan defend the 2 attack and Eleanor defend the 3, but this stuff is going to really, really build up. I think I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to have to play out the Mook. So I'm going to play the Westfold Horse Breeder, which lets me search the top 10 cards of my deck for a mount. The only mount in the deck is the Steed of the Imladris. But a card in the hand, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A card in the hand is still useful since I can boost Eowyn. Oh, there's the Steed of Imladris. So that's both of them in my hand now, and then shuffle. So that's 1 cost. Now I could play Unexpected Courage, which would allow Serdan to hit back and defend. So in theory, I could have the King Spider eat the Westfold Horse Breaker, the forest spider hits Serdan, and then Serdan and Eleanor hit back against the king spider, but that's just not enough to kill it. Another enemy comes out the deck here, and it's basically curtains. The other option is I play the Pelagier ship craftsman chap, but the Pelagier shipwright, but at 1 attack and 1 defence, he could take a nibble from the forest spider, but that's all my resources as well. Oh, terrible situation. I need 4 attack in order to kill that king spider, so if I do that, that would need to be... Yeah, there's no way to get that amount of attack. And not let something go through undefended. Now I could just send Eowyn questing. She should be able to mitigate whatever comes out. But then of course Light of Valinor means that Serdan can quest for free anyway, so there's no reason not to send him. So instead, do I just send Serdan questing? Do I hold back? And that means I've got my full board ready. That means the king... Oh, I may as well send the... No. I may as well send the Gladrin Weaver. So then I've got Serdan. I've got basically my whole board except the Gladrin Weaver ready. So the king spider eats the Westfold horse breeder. The problem is we just cannot kill anything. If I play Unexpected Courage, that will mean I could, in theory, get Treebeard out next turn. So, let's bet it all on Serdan. Oh, this feels like a terrible plan. Right, Serdan and the Gladrin Weaver are going questing. It's a location, thank the gods. So, Mountains of Mirkwood, so that's 3 threat. That's 5 quest, so that's 2 That's 3 progress. I can... God... Good lord, no, it's not. 3 threat, 5. Yeah, 2 progress. Good lord. If I can't do this sort of maths, it's no wonder this is going so well. Okay. So, King Spider. Oh, no, that's the Forest Spiders. So, the King Spider, Westfold Horse Breeder defends. Great Forest Web. So, Westfold Horse Breeder is dead. Don't know why she was breeding horses in the woods. Serdan the Shipwright exhausts and readies with Unexpected Courage to defend against the Forest Spider. No shadow text, how merciful. He doesn't take any damage. And then that's 1, 2, 3, 4 damage, which is enough to kill the King Spider. Good lord, how often is Eowyn held back from questing in order to attack? This deck reeks of quality. Oh, I didn't even travel anywhere. I didn't even consider that I could have just used the Old Forest Road. Oh well, stupid mistakes. Clearly my brain is not in a good space to play this, which would explain why my fortnight was going so poorly. Okay, that's a resource for everyone. Hey, do you remember that Treebeard we had to play right away? Well done, turn 3, and not having yet played it. Okay, so we can have Elrond's Council or another Treebeard. Well, sorry, Treebeard, I can't even afford to play one of you, and you're unique. So get in the discard pile. Right, I feel like I've got a breathing turn now. If I'm going to play him, I've got to play him now. Treebeard. Oh, good lord, it looks like you've been set on fire there, mate. Right. Thanks, lights. Right then. Treebeard with a little halo, completing the Jesus motif. It is Easter after all. Right. Whew, good lord. It's passing through Mirkwood and I'm having a heart attack. Right then, so Serdan, the Shipwright, questing. The Gladrin Weaver questing, and I'm going to send Eowyn because I can go to the Old Forest Road anyway and ready her if I have to. So, oh good, another Forest Spider. God, so that's 5. May as well play Elrond's Council. So that's +1 to Serdan. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 versus 5. That's 5 progress, which finishes that location. Sends us onto the fork in the road, which is 2 threat. Let's go to the Old Forest Road and ready Eowyn. Forest Spider engages. Okie dokie. So we've got our 3 attack Forest Spider and our normal Forest Spider. Well, realistically, I've got to put the 3 attack one on Sirdan because it's cutting it way too close with Eleanor. So on Sirdan, Necromancer's Reach. So that's 1 more wound onto our pointy bearded chap, exhausted with unexpected courage, and exhaust unexpected courage to ready him, and then Forest Spider on Eleanor. Oh, cheat enough attack, good lord. I tell you, the deck is cutting me some breaks here. So then that's 2, 3 attack back to do 2 wounds to a Forest Spider. Oh, thank goodness Treebeard's going to be ready next turn. Alright, I should have lowered my threat by 3 to 27. So at the end of this round it goes up to 28. Everyone readies. And resources. And 2 cards. Choose 1 to discard. So I can have Hammer, another Defender, or a Test of Will to cancel a Treachery. Well, I've got Eleanor in the deck, and right now, allies are what I need. So let's go Hammer. Alright, and speaking of which, let's play. Oh, man. Gonna have to remember next time I play to avoid this extreme light because it's absolutely horrible. I should have put a resource onto Treebeard. I'm going to use my old resource tokens on Treebeard just so I don't get confused. And that's 3 resources. Now Hammer has the ability to, in the combat phase, to ready him. He gets +3 defense until the end of the phase, and at the end of the phase, discard him. So he can have 1 mega defend. I smell troll fodder. Right then, questing. The Galadrim Weaver, Sirdan, and Eowyn. I think, love, you can have a break from trying to attack things. The Dol Guldur Orcs deal 2 damage to a character committed to the quest. Let's kill that Weaver. Right, so then that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -4 is 4 progress. I'm not in any rush to finish this, so I'll happily just stay at this stage of the quest. All right then. Mountains of Mirkwood. I can't risk another enemy coming out, so I can't travel there. So, Dol Guldur Orcs, engage. Right then, so that's 3 2-attack enemies. And I've got a decent suite of defenders now. Now, in theory, Sirdan could defend 2 of these, but there's really no advantage to him doing 2, just to save Hammer doing 1. Treebeard I really want to keep back, because Treebeard can squash a spider all by himself. So, could squash the wounded spider, or Sirdan and Treebeard could squash the fresh one. So, okay then, so Forest Spider on Hammer, nothing, no wounds. Sirdan from Forest Spider, nothing, no wounds. Use Unexpected Courage to ready. Dol Guldur Orcs on Eleanor, nothing, no wounds, good lord. Right, so we've got Sirdan and Treebeard, which is essentially 6, which is a real shame I can't split it, because then I actually could kill 2 enemies. I can kill 1 enemy and wound another one. So Treebeard is going to crush the old Forest Spider, and Sirdan is going to put 2 wounds on the Dol Guldur Orcs. Right, threat up by 1. Everyone readies. Good lord, there is quite the pile. Hammer, I appreciate you trying to defend Eowyn there, mate, but let's leave the lady some room. There is quite the pile of dead spirit allies at my feet. But importantly now, Treebeard, I have no other Ents in the deck, because I don't, if there are any other spirit Ents, I've not seen them. Has got 2 resources, so he can act twice this turn, which will be pretty blooming helpful. Okay, our choices are Ancient Matham or Elfhelm. As much as... Do you know what? As much as I would like Elfhelm, I think Ancient... is Ancient Matham going to give me more use right now? I'm going to get rid of Elfhelm because I've got stand and fight, so if I get really desperate later in the game, I can play events from I can play allies from my discard pile. Now the Pelagia ship captain, importantly, is another warm body. So let's play him now. I hope we haven't recruited him by just telling him he's a warm body, but there we go. So, questing. Serdan. And Eowyn. I really don't want the threat. And she hasn't been hit by any Reach of the Necromancer. The Forest Gate. After you travel to the Forest Gate, the first player may draw 2 cards. Oh, the forests are a lovely place. So that's 4, which is Serdan. So that's 4 progress from Eowyn, which finishes this location. Now, please be the questing one. Don't be the one that means I have to fight Ungoliant's spawn. Oh, every time with the spirit deck. Search the deck for a spider. Search the deck and discard pile for a spider enemy. You can't win until you kill Ungoliant. So... there she is, at 32. She's not engaging yet. I mean, it's Ungoliant's spawn, but I always like to think of it as Ungoliant, just because it's a bit more characterful. So there's really no reason not to go to the Forest Gate now. I will draw 2 cards. So that's a Silver Lamp and Naya, which is incredible with Treebeard. So that makes what I'm playing next turn pretty simple. Now, I don't see myself killing Ungoliant this turn. That would mean 11 attack. I'm nowhere near that. So let's just soak up these attackers and deal with her next turn. Right. So, Hammer, you are made for defending. So defend the Forest Spider. No shadow text. You're okay. Man, the shadow text has been so kind to me this game. Now, we need 1 attack to kill the Doggoldar Orcs. So, Pelagia Shipwright, you defend the Doggoldar Orcs. Choose and discard 1 attachment from the defending character. He does not have any attachments, so he takes a wound. Then attacks back. Eleanor does the 1 damage necessary to kill the Orcs. And Serdan and Treebeard combine to kill the Forest Spiders. No point spending Treebeard's resources to ready him. So we go on to... oh, that is absolutely horrible on the screen. We go up to 30 threat. A resource for each hero. I'm quite enjoying the Serdan, like, ooh, hero 2, make a decision, makes the draw phase. That Power of Orthanc has come back, so that's going to go into the discard pile. And the map of Earnil, which will only cost me 1 because I have 3 spirit heroes in play, lets me play an event from my discard pile. So worst comes to worst, I've got Test of Will there, I've got Elrond's Council, you know, all good stuff. Right, now Naya gets crazy with... so Naya, just in case folks aren't familiar, you attach to Serdan the Shipwright or Gandalf. The attached character gains the leadership resource icon. That will do nothing here. Action exhaust Naya and the attached character to choose and ready up to 2 allies. Each of those allies gets +1 attack and +1 defense until the end of the phase. So with Treebeard, that means he can be ready and hitting so hard, so many times. So let's put Naya onto Serdan, which leaves me with 1 resource. I could play a Steeler Ladris. I could play an Ancient Matham. But I think I'm going to... do you know what? I think I'm going to play the map of Ernil, and I'll put that on Eowyn. Just... oh, I can't afford to cancel a Treachery, so I do that anyway. So... no, do you know what? I am going to play that. Because I can always play Elrond's Council, just in case I desperately need to lower my threat for some reason. Right then, questing. So Serdan's going. Eowyn's going. Now, I'm not going to bother sending Treebeard, because we... actually, you know what? No, there is actually 5 threat in the area. Yeah, I'm just going to send those two. Another forest spider, coming to the aid of its mistress. So that's 7. I have 8, so that's 1 progress onto forest gate, which is no problem with me because I don't really even want to go to the mountains of Mirkwood. I can't risk the extra cards. So, can we kill Ungoliant spawn this turn? I can get Hammer and Treebeard up to 5, 8, 8 plus 9, 10, 11. I believe I can. So let's go for her. So we voluntarily engage. Deal them the shadow cards. Right. Now, Treebeard. Let's see if you can be an absolute boss here. So Treebeard is going to defend the forest spider. Defending character must choose and exhaust 1 character he controls. This makes life a little bit more difficult. I'm going to exhaust Eleanor. Treebeard takes no damage. Treebeard spends 2 resources to ready. Ungoliant spawn on Treebeard. Attacking enemy gets +1 attack, which is 6, which does him 3 wounds. And he's tired again. Then Serdan is going to exhaust Naya and himself. When I said Eleanor was exhausted, I of course meant Hammer was exhausted. To ready Treebeard and Hammer and give them +1. Then he's going to use Unexpected Courage to ready himself, which means we can hit Ungoliant for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which kills Ungoliant and wins the game. Oh, dearie me. That does not feel like a deck that works, but we didn't lose to Passage Through Mirkwood, so well done us. So lucky with those shadow cards. Any quest of any difficulty, and that would have been horrific. But that Naya Treebeard combo is as good as I thought it would be, but it is difficult to get Treebeard out at that 4 cost. Even, you know, I mean, the fact that he's neutral doesn't help when you're mono anyway. I wonder if have I got a right split of costed. There's a lot of 4 cost stuff in here actually, and it's not like this deck has any way of generating resources. I mean, I can only play 1 Treebeard at a time, I suppose, but yeah, I'm not sure that the Ranger of Cardolan he's not costed appropriately for this deck. Cool. Oh well. Always nice to experiment, and always nice not to lose to the easiest quest in the game. See you next time.